Hello, and welcome to Science Magical Worlds. In today's episode, we are going to go over Chapter 2 in the World of Science Chronicles. Today I have some gameplay from Diablo 2 on my ice source, so please enjoy that. And then just as a quick update, I was impacted by Hurricane Ian. Not too bad. There was no damage at my house, thankfully. However, there's been a lot of cleanup that I've had to do and stuff like that, so I've been kind of busy between that and work. So I should be able to start recording more on a consistent basis, at least of my chapters. But yeah, without further ado, let's get started. Episode 2. I wake up and I'm surrounded by beautiful shimmering white walls trimmed with a blinding bright gold in a small room laying on an iceberg cold steel silver platform. As I try to lift up, I see Mr. Zinsky walk into the room, and my eyes start adjusting to details of his figure in the light, which was blazing and harsh to the naked eye at first. But as he comes in, everything becomes clear and no longer purple. He is very light on his feet, with two clear wings tucked underneath his flowing robes. His eyes are a deep purple with pale white concerned discs in the middle of them. The room is deathly quiet before he speaks. How are you feeling? You have been asleep for 4 days. Days? I asked. Interesting, he exclaims. After saying this, he starts twirling his silk-smooth hands that seems to be not touched by time, and a small tweeting sound fills the room, as rainbow-colored stars appear to darken the bright room with their different tones of color, and sails towards my head. And a wave of understanding of everything he has experienced flows over me. When each different colored star fades into my mind, I look down and notice he has a glass cup of water and a fruit that was picked fresh from the city of Aloyne, which resides between two colossal mountains that are capped with bright white snow reflecting the destructive purple quasar above the lake, resting in between them and reflecting that purple shine throughout the valley with no way in or out without scaling the treacherous mountains on either side. My very being could not understand how dazzling this scene was, that my legs felt ghost numb and my vision became like a thick fog until everything went pitch black. I woke up several hours later after acquiring his knowledge of the arts. I learned that he was here to share some information from the city and to pick up new students for a school named the Astral Quasar Academy of Magic. This time when I woke up, I wasn't on the platform, but rather in a comfortable feather-like bed. When I looked down and saw what I was wearing, I felt disgusted how dirty my clothes were from the harsh climate of the outside world. I restored them back into a new condition thanks to all the knowledge I learned from Mrs. Zinsky. Strange that someone this nice exists in this world, and as I looked around I found an oval mirror hanging from the door in the room. Through the reflection I saw that he meant by a kid. I had a deep, itchy purple shirt that came up to the base of my neck and purple shorts on that went just below the knees. As I looked into the reflection I saw myself, and I was about 3 to 4 years old. 2 feet tall and still growing. My hair was a vibrant green shimmer, with Vanta black coloring fading into my hair almost like those two colors were clashing together in perfect harmony. I looked around the room and there was a snow-white dresser with brilliant shiny rubies for handles, and the top was made out of gold, and that traveled from the smooth top down the corners to the legs holding the dresser up. The window by the bed had black curtains with gold spots on it, as if someone dipped their hands in gold paint and flicked it onto the curtain. There was a rug in the center of the white floor that was the color of gold as well. I thought to myself, seems very egotistical to have everything made out of white and gold. I reached up to the ruby handle to expose what was inside of the dresser. In the top drawer was a white shirt with gold going down the sides of it and pants with the same design. Upon lifting up the shirt, the fabric was very light, as if holding air, but I felt a type of sturdiness to this shirt. I changed my outfit to match, and after swapping the clothes, the ones I once wore hit the ground and turned to a cloak, which I then draped over my shoulders. The color also changed to white with gold lining around the edge of it. I walked towards the door and turned the diamond doorknob to reveal a small hallway that is also lined with the same colors as the room, and the gold tracing along the edges. The bed I was in was his bed before getting upgraded to the master suite, as the previous headmaster left the school to travel the world looking for ways to repair the damage that was caused by the war. As I regained my composure a bit enough to make my way down the hallway, it split into 3 different areas. To my left was the kitchen with all sorts of smells coming together and what smelled like a stew with meat and potatoes, as well as some sweet rolls on the side with a cranberry juice. The room to the right was a massive library. The pathway in front of me led to downstairs to the rest of the house, and outside I wanted to explore this city that I cannot see into. As I made it down the winding stairs in front of to the front door that had a sapphire handle, Mr. Zinski's voice broke the silence. "Sorry, kid, not where you want to be. I can't have you roaming the streets just yet," he said. "I need to ask a few questions first," he continued. "Where are you from?" I wasn't sure if I should lie to him or tell him the truth. "You don't have to lie to me," he said, as if reading my mind. "How do you know if I was going to lie to you?" I asked questioningly. "The same way you knew I wasn't going to hurt you when you started roaming my halls." "I see. So why did you rescue me?" I asked, if only to hold me captive. "For someone your age, you do seem to have a very large grasp of everything around you, which is interesting to me," he said. "Why is that?" I asked. "My spell was only supposed to teach you the basics of everything, and yet you pulled just as much knowledge from me as you needed to understand how to survive," he said in an interesting manner. His facial expressions were shifting as he spoke, and I didn't notice before since I had minimal interactions with other people. "You are very lucky to be alive. You have been roaming around for quite a bit of time without any kind of nutrients. Most people would have died after 2 months from the energy drain," he said, his purple and white eyes showing amusement. "This conversation might be a bit of time, and I have about 2 hours before my meeting before heading back to my city. Shall we become more comfortable?" "What do you mean by comfortable?" I asked. As soon as I finished, we teleported into another room with a couch and reclining chair made of diamonds that reflected the gold around the room. The couch was made of diamond as well. The chair seemed to be filled with some type of liquid for a cushion because it was very relaxing. He sat in the chair and I was on the couch. Aside from the furniture in the room, there was a side desk next to the chair between the couch as well as a table in the center, with the same white gold color scheme as the rest of the house. There were newspapers on the table that looked to already be read by someone. There was a window adjacent to the door that was on the south side. Sorry. Of where I sat on the couch, and the chair was in the northeast corner of the room. "Before we start, what is with the white and gold? It seems very egotistical," I asked. He chuckled at the question. "Yes, the Nephilites are a proud people, and they think these colors show that they are proud to visitors. However, they don't get visitors very often, if at all," he said. "As you already know, I am a headmaster of an academy very far from here, and a lot nicer and safer for when you grow up a bit. You are far more advanced than most of my students. I have now, however, there is an age limit before being permitted to school. I am going to allow you to stay here until then. I hope I can trust you to take care of yourself and not destroy the house or break any laws while I am gone. I shall be back to visit here to give a report as you become of age. Until then, my house should feed you and take care of you. However, I am sure you are more than capable of doing that yourself with the knowledge that you got from me," he said. His emotions didn't change much when he said this, although he did shift in his chair a bit as if pondering many things at once. I don't quite know his age, as it's not something he has not thought about in a very long time, but I can tell he has been around for a long time. For reference, days last 36 hours, which they have decreed happens 5 times before the disaster orb floating above the city starts to dim. Once that happens, get back here as soon as possible if you can. You don't want to be caught out there while that's happening. Oh, actually, you do not want to be caught, let alone be caught that. You do not want to be outside, let alone be caught. That might be difficult to explain, actually. In the library, there's a book that will stand out to you from the knowledge that you acquired from me, and it will open a secret door that will lower you into a training place that will allow you to train without worry. So unleash everything you can in practice. I have very powerful wards, so nobody should be able to sense or see in there, and no spells cast should break free and cause any massive damage. He said all this without breaking eye contact with me. His white iris is piercing my very soul. Why is he being so nice to me? I have to go to my meeting now, and after that I'm off to my academy, so I won't see you for about 9 years in the city's time, which should be about 1,500 dims of the disaster orb. He then just disappeared, leaving me alone to my studies. As I get up to leave the room, I notice that we're not too far from the library and the kitchen. I peer out the window to see where I'm at, and I see other houses that look pretty similar to the house that I'm in now. It's very interesting that the city is all lined white and gold, and I just find it very odd. Almost like if they're trying to be like super pure, but they're failing at it. So I decided to leave the room after this, and I head to the kitchen. Inside the kitchen wasn't much. There was just a table with a single chair, and there was a cauldron in the middle of the kitchen for someone to use to cook with. The cauldron was gold, and even though there's a fire underneath it, it seems to not tarnish or change the color at all. Probably brews potions in here and stuff, maybe. As I said this, the cauldron kicks on. It's a higher heat and starts bubbling. At that point, bottles come from the counters and start filling up with a bright, starry-looking liquid and filling the cabinets. Next to the cabinet that all the drinks start, all the bottles start going into, or vials, I should say, start going into. I notice it seems to have some kind of vines coming from it. As I open the white and gold cabinets, I see a little trees coming in from the behind the thing with like almost like a portal, like it's separate, with like an eerie kind of feeling. I reach the portal, or I reach into the cabinet, and I feel my hand go through a cold substance, and on the other side there were fruit. I pick one of the fruit and eat one, and instantly feel regenerated. Almost like getting a kick of coffee in the morning with caffeine. Pretty neat. I explore the rest of the house, looking for anything else that I can do to kind of kill some time. Maybe figure out what book he's figuring out, what he's discussing at. This is going to end chapter 2. If you have enjoyed the colorful world I have created, please cast a spell on the like button, and don't forget to leave the portal open to view these worlds again by subscribing. And if you want to be notified when the portal is active again, please consider turning on notifications. Have a great day.